let us review the 4 laws from this point of view. We have already begun with the first. You exist. When you understand this fully, it becomes automatically apparent, again, that there is only now, that time is an illusion, although the experience of it is real when you create it in your consciousness. But what that means is that relative to the concept of time, if you exist now, you always have and you always will. Because existence is the only quality you have in the now. And it's not that you did exist in the past or will exist in the future. You can say those things and experience it that way coming from within the illusion in your consciousness. But from the absolute state of knowingness, you would understand that you are the past. You are the future. That these things are in you. You are not in them. These are concepts within your consciousness. And that they exist here and now with you. Because you exist here and now. And that's all there is. So you are eternal. You are infinite. And please, now, let us take a moment, because again, this is something we have experienced from humans in our conversations over and over again. It seems that many of you do not really have a clear grasp on the dictionary definition of the word infinite. Or unconditional. Infinite means infinite. It means anything and everything that you can imagine must, by definition, exist somehow, somewhere, in some aspect of all that is. Anything and everything. Yes, we understand that various things may not be relevant to a local experience as you have created it. Nevertheless, it doesn't discount the fact that you are an aspect of an infinite existence. Infinite. Infinite. So if you exist now, which you obviously do, and if you are, in fact, an expression of an already existing infinite creation, you have, right here and right now, the ability to access that infinity in whatever way serves the idea you are creating yourself to be within the local experience. You have the ability to access anything that is relevant, everything that is relevant to the definition of your life as you have created it in your local experience of existence. But even though you may experience only what appears to be relevant for the theme of the life you have locally created, nevertheless, in that experience, you are still supported by the totality of infinity. In order to have a local experience such as you are having, you have to be supported by an infinite existence. If it wasn't infinite, if it was closed, if it was exclusive to some concept, you couldn't experience your local reality at all. The only way you can actually have a localized experience is if it's supported by an infinity that allows for any experience to be had that you can imagine somewhere, somehow. And you still, even within your localized experience, have the ability with your imagination to draw upon those other infinite experiences to whatever degree serves your localized one. It's called imagination. It's the doorway, it's the gateway to all of infinity, to be interpreted through your consciousness in whatever way serves you. But the point is that you know that in order to be able to do that, in order to have an imagination that can conjure up things that don't exist in your reality, that aren't immediately experienced in your reality, it means you're tapping into an infinity that supports your ability to have a local experience and still provides you with a window on the rest of infinity. That's a powerful window, more powerful than you have imagined with your imagination. The paradox is that you can actually also curtail how you use your imagination to make it seem as if your imagination is more limited than it is. But the only reason you can do that is because you can imagine it to be so. That's the paradox. And again, let it be obvious, as we have said. You are unconditionally loved so much that you are actually then allowed to think you're not unconditionally loved. That's how loved you are. If you understand the power of that paradox, again, more of the nature of the structure of existence will become apparent to you, obvious to you. And you will awaken to the fact that the only reason you experience the limitations that you do is because you have decided to, for one reason or another. But when you come from a knowing state that you have done that, then it becomes obvious you can do something else. And being aware, just by itself, being aware of the fact that you can do something else is all that is necessary to give you permission to do something else. Because were it not so, existence would be conditional, and it's not. It's unconditional. So learn the definition of unconditional. It's not, yes, it's unconditional except for these conditions. You're the ones supplying the conditions, not existence. Existence is unconditional because it allows you unconditionally to supply conditions if you want. The only way that's possible is if existence itself is unconditional. Because if it wasn't unconditional, it might not allow you to impose conditions. The fact that you can actually impose conditions proves that existence itself is unlimited and unconditional. Let it become obvious. That's the knowing state. Is this making sense to you? And so that is the first law in its fullness.